Level 1. The Salon Nobody. You drag a soaked rubber mat across the crowded back room. Beside wet towels, you check a cracked phone under cheap plastic. You clip a red nylon leash to a trembling terrier. At the dripping faucet nozzle, you test bath water against your wrist. You scrub blue shampoo into a muddy golden retriever's coat. Steam rolls under fluorescent ceiling tubes as 20 caged dogs bark through fur. You sort borrowed brushes inside a cracked brush cup. Near the laminated kennel chart, you face the manager's pointing hand. You hose foam off a poodle, one cheap sneaker soaked. Under the yellow dryer hose, you steady a nervous puppy. You brush gray clumps from thrift store black pants. Past stacked cages, you haul a clear trash bag of fur. You watch polished leather loafers cross the salon puddles. With a cage bar rag, you wipe nose prints under lobby laughter. You loosen a matted spaniel ear with patient fingers. At the dripping grooming loop, you catch the senior groomer's shove. You rinse muddy paw prints from the steel tub wall. The wall-mounted dryer shakes under barking, splashing water, and flying fur. You shove an overloaded backpack under the break room chair. Through a purple grooming bow, you study a calmer dog's chin. You grip a pink complaint slip during the manager's blame. With the orange disinfectant sprayer, you clean kennel trays. You open a wallet around a paper bus pass and one bill. You feel a scared dog bite through the torn rubber glove. Under a blood-specked sleeve cuff, you clamp your shaking hand. You face the manager's clipboard beside a dripping dog. You press a cheap finger bandage through loose fur. At the tub, you rinse the half-foamed terrier one-handed. Through the lobby, you watch a black credit card appear. You read $2,500 per month gross from the thin pay envelope. Under a yellow street lamp, you open your bitten hand. After closing, you pack dirty towels into the overloaded washer. The glowing backroom doorway holds silent cages and floating fur. You study the luxury SUV tailgate, treating wealthy owners as paid access. Level 2. The first loyal clients. You lay polished shears in a perfect row. Beside the mirror, you clip appointment cards with your name. You lift a damp schnauzer into the green grooming loop. Across your chest, you tie the branded black apron. You shape a poodle foot with curved foot shears. With the red push broom, you clear clipped fur. You expose the matted collar line during a price argument. Under your station, you count tips into the metal box. A filthy doodle becomes a plush showpiece before the owner's filming phone. You blend the doodle's face with the black comb attachment. You enter a repeat client into the spiral appointment book. Outside, you cover the used hatchback seat with a towel. You read the mirror sticky note after the accusation. At the apron waist tie, you straighten without turning. You show packed undercoat on the full rake. You check ears, nails, pads, and teeth on the towel. On the hook, you hang a clean grooming smock. At the front desk bell, you hold position through the client's refusal. You unfold the handwritten thank you note around a cash tip. Beside the dryer cage, you eat from the noodle container. You turn a snapping small dog toward the tiny muzzle strap. Saturday rush floods the crowded lobby counter with carriers, leashes, and dryers. You scan alphabetized client cards filled with wealthy surnames. You open the new shear case like silver. Under the owner's narrowed glasses, you keep cutting. You accept the commission envelope as the owner says, $4,000 per month gross. You rub a fur-dusted neck towel after 6 dogs. During cleanup, you silence the vibrating lunch phone. You rotate both wrists inside the wrist support wrap. With slow pressure, you clean the heavy dog grooming table. You brace your back against the dryer cage corner. At home, you rinse dog hair from the sink sponge. You press a sore shoulder into the bathroom door frame. The next morning, you adjust clipper grip tape carefully. You watch a wealthy client grip a designer carrier. Near the luxury key fob, you feel your wrist seize. You write the address across the flipped appointment card. You circle the wealthy zip code, pricing delivery above the salon. Level 3. The house call hustle. Before dawn, you open the used SUV trunk. You wear a black polo with the crooked logo patch. You slide the folding grooming table between buckets. With a canvas supply tote, you climb apartment stairs. You grip the hallway railing during the neighbor's complaint. You tape a towel over the tiny sink edge. On the rolling tool case, you tape the square reader. You groom beside the buzzing text phone after a salon shift. You set the folding table beneath the marble laundry counter. A Range Rover gleams outside as housekeepers pass the tiny white dog. You angle the portable dryer nozzle toward one corner. With damp towels bundled, you text the next client. You stare into a dim garage bulb above the requested cut. You bump the rolling tool case wheel over polished threshold. Under the hanging road bicycle, you wash the dog. You trim nails above a plastic laundry basket. Beside the driveway fountain, you park the leaking SUV. At the guardhouse clipboard, you point to your name. Between shifts, you eat from the gas station sandwich wrapper. You mark wealthy, pet-heavy streets on the suburb map. You group appointments by zip code on the route list. At dusk, landscape lights line the mansion driveways. You wash muddy paws beside the covered sports car. Behind the homeowner's wine glass, you keep scissors steady. In the tight smile reflection, you lower your eyes. You hold the stamped deposit slip reading $6,500 per month gross combined. You carry the upgraded dryer box into the house. After the route, you pack the towel-filled back seat. You photograph the finished dog against the front door backdrop. You stare at the unpaid invoice screen after refusal. In the driveway, you lower open palms slowly. You photograph loose fur on the marble laundry floor. Against the vibrating SUV door, you steady your breathing. In the trunk, you coil the damp extension cord. You scrub a stranger's sink with the cleaning toothbrush. Before the groom, you capture a pre-groom room photo. You gather the wind-blown fur clump from the yard. A mansion street becomes a worksite under blinking hazard lights. You reload the folding table beside the passing grooming van. You tuck the folded van listing into the dashboard visor. At midnight, you stack wet towels beside the apartment washer. You work numbers on the curbside calculator beside the SUV. You sketch tub, table, dryer, tank, and generator. The rectangle salon drawing contains every bathroom, garage, and mansion. You scan the used van listing page beside dripping towels. You read the prepaid client text about driveway grooms. Above the sink, you tape the van listing. You stretch trunk measuring tape against the van layout. With the scratched hinge, you fold the table slowly. You lock the folded table latch, choosing a salon on wheels. Level 4. The first grooming van. A sliding van door reveals a glowing mini-spa inside the parking lot. You run your hand along the glossy van wrap. You inspect the professional steel tub under bright lights. At dawn, you fill the tank through the hose. You compare the tank gauge needle against the root. You wedge the rubber wheel chock beside the driveway tire. On the shampoo rack, you arrange premium bottles. You show the booking page on a client's phone. You raise the table with the hydraulic pedal. Inside the van mirror, you complete the whole groom. You stand beside the humming generator panel during the complaint. On the angled tire, you turn the van from windows. A mansion driveway becomes a spa bay around chrome drain. You hang black uniforms behind the driver's seat. You drive with towels stacked on the shelf. On the coat-type route sheet, you schedule dryer cycles. You hold the fuel pump handle beside the wrapped van. At the brass gate speaker, you wait for approval. You open the gray water cap at the approved stop. You read the splashed safety checklist beside the tub. Against the padded table edge, you shield the muzzle. At dusk, glowing van windows float between dark lawns. You post the finished groom on the photo grid. You face the half-open front door after cancellation. Inside the van door, you press on the policy sticker. You hold the accountant's cup as the accountant says, $12,000 per month gross business revenue. You touch the vibrating pump box before pressure drops. At the leaking tub seam, you watch water spread. You press a soaked emergency towel into the leak. You steady the half-wet show dog inside the dim van. Beside the dead van, you cancel calls on the screen. You pace the lot with a wet uniform sleeve. You watch the mechanic tap the generator housing bolt. Outside the repair bay, you scrub blades on the bench. You pin the curled repair estimate under the wiper. Beside work trucks, you polish the stranded logo panel. You build the spare parts crate from the list. At night, repaired headlights return to the driveway. You write fuel, water, generator, hose, pump, and backup. You pull the generator cord before the first dog. On the supplier invoice pad, you order backup hoses. You point at the cracked hose beside the full calendar. Under the porch light, you park the branded van. You photograph a clean paw on the van step. The porch-lit van silhouette holds the whole business outside. You grip the van keyring, treating machinery as payroll. Level 5. The luxury driveway route. You steer the newer van grill into the elite subdivision. You write one zip code across the route card. At the gate, you check the Apple Watch face. You wait behind landscapers by the lane cone. One mansion street curve turns into a conveyor belt of money. You align the van door with the shade line. You prep the tub with the pre-filled sprayer. Toward the client, you angle the premium shampoo wall. You refuse the urgent slot beside folded cash. You close the van door against the latch. Inside the labeled drawer, you keep tools in rows. You groom 2 house dogs beside the golf cart. You sell the plan over the annual booking calendar. Mansion garages open in sequence behind fresh bandanas. You wear the clean logo jacket over uniform. You read the angry client text after cutting the slot. Between appointments, you clear an app slot for mansion routes. You watch the live counter reach $21,000 per month gross business revenue. You stagger, drying with the timer clip. In the garage, you find sparkling water by the warmer. You return each dog with a branded bandana. You point at the backyard party tent from the driveway. At the parking stripe, you name the appointment time. The golf course fairway stretches beyond silent gates and lawns. You turn pages in the highlighted pre-book binder. You stare at the overfilled evening calendar swallowing dinner. With the discarded glove, you face the missed calls. You ignore the unanswered dinner call beneath the screaming dryer. Under the van's ceiling light, you finish the long coat. You set grooming invoices beside the unopened takeout bag. A golf club valet lane fills with member dogs and carts. You enter the private garage keypad code. At the brass spigot, you refill the van tank. You present packages on the laminated package card. At the neighbor's gate, you answer the mansion owner. You grip the steering wheel seam until anger drains. An empty luxury street carries the lone van home. You fit better tools into the foam insert. Across the phone stack, you scan dinners and requests. You flag an emergency appointment inside the packed route. You read the salon owner message about poaching. Outside your house, you face the logo-lit van. You pin a help-wanted note beside the route map. You circle groomer-ready tasks on the task list. Across training holds, you block 2 future client requests. You press the hiring page button, admitting demand outgrew one body. Level 6. The local van fleet. At sunrise, rising garage doors release matching vans toward rich suburbs. You inspect 5 wrapped van noses under warehouse lights. You check the fuel card board beside vehicle keys. Before dawn, you ready company jackets on hooks. You point at the empty route slot beside the dispatcher. You sweep the inspection flashlight across water, towels, and blades. By the washer-dryer stack, you sort towels from every suburb. You watch the fleet from the mezzanine office window. You review route notes across the branded tablet row. At the short pallet, you block the understocked route. The glowing dispatch screen maps vans like dots across the city. You redraw rich suburbs across the magnetic zone map. You listen through the dispatcher headset during client calls. Along the spare parts wall, you line hoses, pumps, filters, and belts. You mark the difficult dog note after the refusal. You take the tablet during the garage floor handoff. Beside embroidered towels, you inspect logos on every bin. You sign the cleanliness tag before departure. You fasten the training strap around a nervous dog. 8 practice tables line up under academy lights before vans. You watch the red complaint light during the late route call. You grab the backup van key before the voicemail ends. You hold the accountant's tablet as the accountant says, $100,000 per month gross business revenue. Beside the garage wall, you stand with bulk shampoo drums. You pin the photo angle guide near training tables. After dark, you assign wet towels into numbered carts. At the swapped printout, you confront the route switch. You tear the route printout in half before the map. You tape the camera policy notice near the entrance. The charging van row turns the garage into a night machine. You compare mileage receipts against fuel receipts. You trace weak patterns across the performance heat map. You hold the rich route tablet during the threat. During inspection, you lift private business cards from the drawer. In the open van doorway, you hold the cards forward. You study the client contact card naming the groomer first. Outside, you meet blank vans on the transporter ramp. You fill the operations calendar with interviews, maintenance, and launches. From the passenger seat, you mark the clipboard. You hold the monogrammed leash during the demand. You rewrite the handoff card around the brand. The zone suburb map divides one rich suburb into protected routes. You assign dogs through the dispatch queue. You grip the emergency vet bracelet after the injury complaint. With the founder's key fob, you leave the garage. You face the accusation beneath the vet clinic sign. On the office desk, you leave the legal envelope unread. You freeze the pause safety footage on the mistake. Over the safety sheet, you tap the broken rule. You rebuild the revised handling manual into fixed steps. The grounded fleet line waits under white retraining lights. You clip the safety drill harness onto each groomer. You install the ceiling camera inside the brighter van. Inside the van, you mount the standard card. You place the crossed-out script page before the senior employee. At the open garage door, you hold silence. You hand trainer badges to the best groomers. The synchronized departure rolls out slower, sharper, and standardized. You mark trainer pins across the route map. You hang the standard above key hooks, making obedience the brand. Level 7. The National Grooming Empire. At the airport curb, you step out with a logo lapel pin. You guide rolling launch cases through the terminal. Planes lift beyond the runway window before another market opens. Inside your carry-on, you unfold the territory packet. You price training fees at the airport lounge table. With coffee cups, you build the market model. You park beside the demo van in the modern driveway. Along the glass corridor, you head toward fleet doors. Rows of vans warm across the headquarters fleet yard. You place logo pins in the tray. Over the launch calendar, you mark sold appointments. You move the trainer token across the launch plan. Academy station rows stretch under bright lights like organized trust. You time rotations on the board for handoffs and resets. You stand beneath the towering Expo banner. At the competitor sign, you invite the crowd toward the demo. You lift the handheld microphone with a public smile. An Expo demo van opens before investors, owners, and groomers. You tap booth tablets showing modules, routes, and dashboards. You build the vehicle outlet model for prospects. Inside the warehouse aisle, you inspect supplies and parts. You measure uniform pallets higher than your first kitchen. You close the supplier contract folder across the table. With the returned folder, you call the second supplier. Over the buyer packet tab, you check launch dates. You hold the glass pitcher as the finance counterpart says, $1 million per month gross system sales. You watch vans split from the overpass rail. With the logo duffel, you board beside the launch binder. You scan the franchise owner badge during the training argument. You demonstrate failure beside the training dog mannequin. A hotel ballroom fills with banners, cutouts, owners, and territory tables. You face the shadowbox glove in the academy hallway. You tap the shadowbox glass once. Inside the warehouse practice van, you rehearse opening scripts. You overlook the fleet yard from the balcony rail. At the territory buyer watch, you reject cheaper rollout. You set standard dominoes across the table. First vans pass ribbon-cutting scissors under photographers. You ride the first route passenger seat. You hold the launch day tablet for the mansion signature. At the launch site, you read the complaint on the regional lead's phone. You step onto the ribbon-lined sidewalk without the smile. Despite the protest, you issue the grounded territory notice. You build the review board from footage, logs, records, and certifications. Wrapped vans cross the state line toward retraining hubs. On the graduation tray, you present keys, badges, and tablets. You mark the snow market territory card. You adjust the winter diagram for tanks, heaters, spacing, and backups. The 4-climate mural shows palms, snow, desert suburbs, and rainy driveways. You inspect the prototype spotlight over cameras and storage. With launch binders, you direct leaders toward airport gates. You face the reporter microphones outside headquarters. You make the fleet yard call to every regional lead. Multi-state convoys return to yards and academies for retraining. You open camera kits beside revised safety cards. At the Pause National Board, you choose trust over routes. You remove the tailored jacket before demonstrating protocol. On the network floor decal, you point beneath pushback. You press the safety seal decal beside cameras and badges. You stamp each release inspection form by region. Headquarters fleet rows fill again under clean lights. You clip the retraining badge before the van step. Beside the old solo panel, you compare the prototype. You hand launch keys to leaders bound for airports. Uniformed groomers return dogs to mansion driveways beside matching vans. Dozens of grooming vans line beneath a glowing U.S. territory map.